right for you.
Spring is here, and the weather is turning warmer. Spring is also a time when Chesler's Fine Furniture in Uniontown clears their floor of discontinued items to make room for new stock soon to arrive. There are sale items in every department. Table lamps priced from $35 to $129. Lazy Boy rocker recliners starting at $429 in fabric and just $7.99 in leather. Upholstered power rocker recliners in 3 colors for $6.59. For the living room, there's a 76-inch sofa in gray at $4.99 and matching love seats and chairs at sale prices. If you need storage for those seasonal clothes, Chesler's has 5-drawer chests starting at $329 and up. For the kitchen area, 5-piece dining sets start at only $5.99. This is just a sampling of items on sale, and Chesler's has delivery and credit terms to fit your budget. Chesler's Fine Furniture, Route 51 in Uniontown, where customers send their friends.
Having Hicks & Baugh's drugstore in Uniontown means reliable, quality, and friendly service. Pharmacists Stephen Harper and Seth Miller are ready to answer your health questions and handle all your prescriptions. They offer free delivery, mail-out service, and accept all utility payments, all part of their good neighbor way of doing business. Visit Hicks & Baugh's at 304 Morgantown Street in Uniontown or call 724-437-2828. Open Monday to Friday, 9 to 6, and Saturday until 3.
Your local station, WMBS.
The views and opinions presented by the host, guests, or callers on this program do not necessarily represent the positions of WMBS Radio.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to What's on Your Mind. I'm Russ Rhodes, your host. It is open conversation today, and both lines are currently open, so give me a buzz, 724-438-4593. What's on Your Mind brought to you by Bright Stripe Seal Coating and Line Striping, AR Roofing and Remodeling, K2 Engineering, Madewell Services, full lawn care and cleaning services, Hicks & Baugh's Drugstore, Coldwell Banker, Laurel Ridge Realty, and Gary's Auto Sales. All righty, now that we have that out of the way, a couple things on my list of possible topics, and if you want to chat with something about something else, that's fine by me. You're still going to have to call 724-438-4593. So King Charles was in Washington yesterday. Spoke before Congress, had some nice words, maybe a little, chastising of the president in there, but done so very, very diplomatically. So your thoughts on that. And then last night was the dinner, from which now Jimmy Kimmel still, I don't know if you want to say trying to explain away his expectant widow comment, now is commenting on something that President Trump said last night at the dinner. The president was, the president's mother was from Scotland. And so he was talking about the close ties that we have and how she came to America, met his father, and how they were married. They absolutely loved each other. They were married for 63 years, at which point the president turns to his wife, First Lady Melania, and says, "I'm sorry, sweetheart, but I don't think we're going to match that number." So now Jimmy Kimmel is trying to say that the president should be fired for talking about his old age. Unbelievable. Okay, James Comey has been indicted, is expected to turn himself into authorities, but ostensibly he's been, because of the 8647 picture he posted last summer of a bunch of seashells on the beach, put in that formation there. So This brings up, and his lawyer has indicated that he's going to go on a First Amendment defense on this. So your thoughts? First Amendment rights, you can pretty much say whatever you want. There are some exceptions, such as, you're not allowed to yell fire in a crowded auditorium. So anyway, as one of those exceptions, though, is making threats. You can be held responsible for making threats. And in this case, 8647 is being considered a threat upon the life of the president by the DOJ. So your thoughts on all of that? It's come up on this show recently about the number of scientists and people affiliated with defense contractors and NASA that have either gone missing or have wound up deceased, sometimes maybe in mysterious circumstances. And so the president had asked the FBI to look into these 20-some deaths/disappearances. Well, Kash Patel, the director of the FBI, says, well, they're doing their due diligence. They have contacted all these state authorities involved. They're looking for any kind of common link, whatever. But he says he expects a report to be issued in short order. When pressed on that, he said like a week and a half, 2 weeks, he should have his report ready for the president. How much will be made public, I don't know. Let's see here. For senior citizens and senior citizens coming of age, if you will. So if you're familiar, full retirement, to start collecting your full retirements, it's roughly 67 years. It varies a little bit as to when you were born, but roughly 67 years you can start collecting full benefits. You can start collecting at age, I believe it is 62, but at a reduced rate. Also, along with that, if you continue to work, well, there's limits as to how much money you can earn before it starts lessening your benefit. You're penalized for making too much money. Well, a couple of Republicans, Senator Rick Scott from Florida and Representative Greg Murphy from North Carolina, have introduced the Senior Citizens Freedom to Work Act, which would stop that practice. So you could retire at 62 and continue to work without any penalty if this legislation is passed and signed by the president. So your thoughts on that? Here's a interesting, fun little tidbit. This has to deal with the ongoing conflict in the Middle East with Iran. Carex is the largest manufacturer of condoms in the world. They're based in Malaysia. And they manufacture 500 billion condoms a year and export to 130 countries. Well, they're contemplating a 30% increase in the price of condoms because of the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. It is causing supply shortages in aluminum, which is used in packaging, and silicone oil and synthetic rubber in the manufacturing of the condoms. So I guess the price of safe sex is about to go up. All righty. Okay, you heard the Pirates lost last night. It's their first 3-game losing streak of the season. Hopefully, they are able to reverse that and stop that streak tonight when they continue to take on the Cardinals from St. Louis here at home. And then you also heard Game 6 of the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs between the Penguins and the Flyers tonight in Philadelphia. It is do or die for the Pens yet again. They are down 3-2 in the best-of-7 series. Hopefully they tie it up to come home for Game 7 back here in Pittsburgh. Pre-game is 6:30 here on WMBS with the puck being dropped at center ice at about 7:30 p.m. And then finally, I mean, you might not think so today, but, outside grilling weather is pretty much here. So for those of you that grill, what is your piece de resistance? What is the best thing that you grill? That every time you grill it is just you get all kinds of this is the best thing I've ever eaten. All kinds of applause, kudos, everything. What is it? What's your specialty on the grill? So I'm just curious about that. So I will tell you one thing that I particularly like grilling. Well, there's a couple things. Tuna steak. I do a nice job on tuna steak. But the best one is London broil. And I cut the butt, well, either I or my wife cuts the London broil into strips, about a ½ inch wide. And then through a series of, seasonings and marinades and stuff, it's marinated for a couple hours in the refrigerator. And then each strip is thrown on the grill. And what's nice about that is you really get the chance to control what is rare, what is medium, and what is well done. So you're able to pretty much satisfy everybody as to how they like their meat cooked. So I'm asking, what is your favorite meal to cook, to grill outside? So give me a buzz, 724-438-4593. Both lines are open, so I'm looking forward to chatting with you about my topics that I just mentioned, or if there's something else you want to talk about, by all means, give me a buzz on that. And it looks like we have a call coming through right now. So,
hello, welcome to What's on Your Mind.
God, Russ, hey, it's Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Hey, I wanted to touch base on that. You was talking about the Social Security. I'm 71. I'll be 72 here real soon.
Yeah.
And I'm one of these guys still working a full-time job, only because I want to.
Yeah.
But once you reach full retirement, mine was 66. Once you reach full retirement, there's no penalties. You're not. You just got to pay taxes. That's all.
Yes, correct.
Yeah,
But so this is going to the early retirees.
Right. Yeah.
This would benefit. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I thought, because I'll tell you, I made probably like around $18,000 in overtime this year, and I thought that the tax break was going to help, but it didn't amount to anything. But out of all that, only 800 something was qualifying.
Mm-hmm.
It says right on your W-2.
Okay.
That you only get to do the half time, not the time and a half. So
mm-hmm. Okay.
it's not that big of a deal, you know what I mean? But hey, a little bit better than nothing, I guess.
That's true. That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
So I think I think what this is kind of geared for, this possible legislation, Paul, is for the person that's getting close to retirement age and they're wanting to go to the full retirement, but for whatever reason, they lose their job.
Yeah.
You know, and so here you are, you're
Yeah.
60 years old, 62 years old even, and, you know, okay, do you get back in the workforce even if you're able to? Or do you go into retirement? And so this makes it a little bit easier, knowing that you can start collecting and then add through a part-time job or whatever without any kind of penalty.
Yeah, Social Security told me that if I keep working, that my Social Security could go up, but nothing's happened yet.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm just because there's a cost of living built into Social Security. That if I ever get a bigger check, you know, I mean, it gets a regular every year. I did it, but down the line, if I ever get something, I'll know the numbers finally get caught up.
Yeah, I think it's the type of thing is they look at what your 5 highest grossing years of income, and that so if you continue to work and somehow, you know, that pay bumps into the top 5, then yes, I can see how that would change things.
The Social Security office told me, because I went in to visit them.
Mm-hmm.
This was just a year or so ago.
Right.
And they told me what they do is they'll go back 40 years,
Mm-hmm.
and they kick out your lowest income, and then they replace it with one of your newer ones.
Okay.
And which I thought was pretty good, but that cost of living is involved in that too. So,
Sure. Yeah. Yep.
I'm just waiting. I'll wait and see. Hopefully, I'll live long enough to take advantage of that. Hey, you know what? I consider myself blessed because I've been collecting Social Security now for almost 7 years, and a lot of people don't get that chance.
Yeah.
So I consider myself blessed.
So, all right.
Hey, Russ, thank you, buddy.
Hey, Paul, thanks for the call. I apprate it. Bye-bye.
All right, buddy.
Bye-bye.
All righty, both lines are open. 724-438-4593. We're going to take a quick little pause, and we'll be right back.
Take the fact bus.
Caring for an aging parent or a loved one with medical needs? FACT, Fayette Area Coordinated Transportation, can help. Seniors 65 and older ride free on our fixed routes. People with disabilities get discounted shared rides. And if your loved one has medical assistance, their trips to doctors or treatment are covered under the shared ride program. Give them safe, reliable independence and yourself peace of mind. Call 724-628-RIDE or visit factbus.com. FACT, your community, your connection.
Route 21 Furniture. Take the road to your perfect home.
Sleep well tonight. Try out a new mattress from Route 21 Furniture with a large selection of mattresses, all sizes and comfort levels, with great prices, free local delivery and setup, and financing options. Route 21 Furniture. Open weekdays 9 to 5, Saturday 10 to 5, Sunday noon to 4. 724-737-2222 or Route21Furniture.com.
Route 21 Furniture. Take the road to your perfect home.
Warm weather means you'll be spending more time outside. So enjoy your deck or patio with retractable or fixed awnings from Lifetime Awnings. Made in the USA with manufacturer and customers guarantees, Lifetime Awnings products last. Lifetime Awnings is veteran-owned and operated with a 10% discount to all military veterans and their families. Call Lifetime Awnings 724-554-6067 or email John, the owner, at lifetimeawningsusa@gmail.com.
The wait is over. It's time to manja. Manja featuring Delalo is now open at Live Casino. Part market, part cafe, Manja offers fresh, authentic pasta, pizza, hoagies, salads, ice cream, cocktails, and more made with Delalo's finest ingredients. Eat in, grab and go, or take home a taste of Italy from our retail market. Meet you at Manja featuring Delalo. Now open inside Live Casino, Route 30 at Westmoreland Mall. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Are you looking to list or sell your house? Now is the time to let the professionals at Caldwell Banker Laurel Ridge Realty help you with all of your real estate needs. Caldwell Banker Laurel Ridge Realty has 2 convenient locations to better serve you. In Uniontown area, 724-437-7100, or in Connellsville area, 724-628-7200, and speak with one of our real estate professionals. Visit our website, caldwellbanker.com. We have been proudly serving Western Pennsylvania area for over 30 years and look forward to helping you with all of your real estate needs. Broker Paul Bortz Jr.
Did you know that you have a choice for your physical therapy provider? NovaCare Rehabilitation offers same-day appointments, and oftentimes you don't need a prescription from your doctor to see us. We will make sure that you are treated as an individual and will work directly one-on-one with you to help achieve your goals. You have tried the rest. Now try the best. NovaCare. Delaware Avenue in Uniontown. Phone 724-437-0556 to schedule your appointment today.
Welcome back to What's on Your Mind. I'm Russ Rhodes, your host. It is Open Conversation. Give me a buzz, 724-438-4593. So I mentioned yesterday that United Arab Emirates is leaving OPEC. They're leaving Friday. A lot of analysts think that by them leaving, it's, well, not that it's necessarily going to break up OPEC, but a lot of the oil-producing exporting countries are going to start, well, producing more oil. OPEC right now, they kind of limit what each country is able to produce, drill, and export on a monthly basis. So United Arab Emirates, I think I heard is like right now like 3 million barrels a day, but they can have the capacity or the ability to go up to about 4.5 million barrels a day. If this takes place, you should see a reduction in gas prices as a result of that, especially if, not if, but when things get to the point in the Middle East where the Strait of Hormuz is opened, and it is open for the most part, but ships are still a little hesitant to go through because of the threat of mines that Iran says they have positioned in the strait. So once that situation gets settled down, and again, United Arab Emirates increasing the amount of oil in the market, you really should start seeing the price of oil going down. How quickly that's going to be, I don't know. It all depends really on how quickly, things in the Middle East get settled. The administration is continuing their economic pressures on Iran, continuing to add sanctions. And according to the administration, they are crumbling. They just don't have the money to do anything. And now reports are coming out that civilian unrest is growing as a result. So we'll see, external pressure and internal pressure on the leadership of Iran is having an effect, but how much, I don't know. So your thoughts on that? So same phone number to dial into, 724-438-4593. So with the Senior Citizens Freedom to Work Act, if you're, and again, this has not, it's only just been introduced. It hasn't been debated, hasn't been voted on yet. It's not a law. It hasn't been added to, anything. Would this alter your plans for retirement if it were to pass? If you're, if you were planning on, going to full retirement age of 67, give or take a month or so, if this were to go in, would you reconsider and maybe retire at 62 and continue to work in some capacity to supplement on that? So, let me know. 724-438-4593.
Hello, welcome to What's on Your Mind.
Hi, Russ.
Hello, Mark. How are you today?
Oh, I'm fine.
Good.
Hey, yesterday morning, I turned on the television channel 4, and I saw, President Trump and the prince. I guess they were like reviewing the troops. He was met at the White House. It was a terrific ceremony. But when you kicked off the air yesterday, I heard that he was addressing Congress at this moment. First thing I did, I went over and turned on the television set, and they were announcing. He was just walking in with him and his wife. The Sergeant of Arms announced it. And the 40-minute speech was terrific. It was, I guess you can call it 1,000 years of wisdom.
Okay.
How he went through, English common law and shared values and, World War II. He says, you helped us. He said something about we would be speaking German now if the United States didn't help us in Europe. And he also said, but if we didn't help you, you'd be speaking French now. Evidently, he's talking about the French and Indian War, I guess, when General, I think it was Colonel Washington back then, I believe.
Yeah.
He wasn't a general. He suffered his first defeat up here in Fayette County, up here at Fort Necessity.
Right.
But it was a wonderful speech. I enjoyed all 40 minutes of it. It wasn't boring at all. At all.
Good. Good. Well, and now I don't know if you saw this though, but at the dinner last night.
I saw something about there. Yeah.
Yeah. So King Charles got up to speak, and he brings up the architectural change at the White House, the ballroom, and he says we tried to do a minor architectural change ourselves back in 1814.
He burned the White House down.
Yes, which brought a nice chuckle.
Yeah, they burned the Capitol down too, didn't they?
Yeah.
They burned. Oh my. Yeah, I think it was. President Madison was president from the saddle of a horse, I believe, when that was going on.
Could be.
Some I forget his name. Yeah. Hey, also about Iran now.
Yeah.
How come? I just kind of wonder how come the United States isn't trying to get some kind of battalion together with ex-Iranians with this princely and maybe make a landing somewhere in Iran and see what would happen, like the Bay of Pigs is what I'm thinking of. Remember how we got some civilians together? Yeah,
but you got to remember how much of a failure Bay of Pigs was.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the big problem there was Russ. Kennedy withdrew the air support that he was supposed to give him. That could have been well.
Well, I'm sure there has been there's some kind of contingency, some kind of plan concerning that, Mark. And I'm sure there, for that to take place, there's certain milestones that have to be hit.
I was thinking. I think that you think that they do. Start some kind of secret operation, try to get some of these people together. Maybe start a little invasion somewhere. You never know what might happen. What a foray might do.
Yeah.
The whole place just could collapse.
Maybe, but
Yeah,
but if you're going to do something like that, you want to make sure it's going to work.
Yeah.
You don't want to go in there, only with half a plan, and have it fail. All that would do would give the regime confidence and some kind of respect, if you will.
Yeah. Again, it's sort of like they won one, you might say.
Yeah. Right.
It strengthens their hand, as they say.
Yes. Yeah. So that's the last thing you want.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, Russ. That's all I got for today.
All right, Mark. Well, I appreciate the phone call.
Right.
Have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.
All right. Give me a buzz, 724-438-4593. So Mark saw the saw, watched, listened to the full speech by King Charles before a joint session of Congress yesterday. I just heard bits and pieces myself. So, did you see it? And what's your take? You know, Mark thought it was a great speech that the king gave. And you know what? I wouldn't have expected anything other than that, too. And I'm sure that, Keir Starmer, the prime minister, and his office had input into the speech. Things that they would like the king to touch upon. So I'm sure that, you know, the prime minister's office had a hand in this speech. Not that they wrote it for the king, but asked that certain things be included. So, and it was used, this whole visit. It's diplomacy. So it's a way to exchange ideas, to pass along comments and thoughts, and also just to, well, in this case, you know, maybe kind of heal some wounds, patch things up a little bit between our two countries. So, and I think probably last night and yesterday went a long way for that to happen. Will be interesting moving forward is to see if the relationship between the president and the prime minister changes. So that's something to be looking forward